My ex-wife is furious because I gave our daughter the freedom she never had.
Ooh, let her fly free.
I, 43 male, have a daughter, 16 female, who I have joint custody over with my ex-wife, 39 female. We got divorced when my daughter was a baby, and the court awarded 50-50 custody for the both of us. I will admit, though, being a doctor comes with its consequences. I haven't been as present as I wish I could have been. By the way, this comes from Doc, I am tired. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
We're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We're just going to guess what we would do in this situation. So let us know what you would do in the comments. So OP says, when my daughter was 13, she started telling me things that her mom does or rules that she has in place over her, and how she thinks it's unfair. I would listen to her and advise her to talk to her mom. My daughter would then ask if she has to obey those rules over here still, to which I said no. At first, it was just small stuff that I find nitpicky, things like not being able to eat in the living room. As she's gotten older, she's started making more requests for privileges in my house, and it's pretty much gone like this. Example 1. Mom doesn't let me hang out with friends during the week. Well, that's dumb. If you have a ride there and back, you can go with your friends. Example 2. Mom doesn't let me wear comfortable clothes around the house. She says I have to dress modestly. You can walk around the house unclothed for all I care. Example 3. You and Mom's houses don't have locks on my bedroom door. There isn't a lock? I can call a guy out and have him put a lock in it if you want. Example 4. Mom doesn't let me drink soda. Do you want soda? If so, I can order it with our groceries from Hy-Vee. You get the idea. I don't want to say I've become a doormat for my daughter, but I'm just not as stingy about rules. It's her house just as much as mine in my eyes. My ex-wife recently has been going off on my daughter and I about how I am letting her get away with any and everything, and how my lack of discipline at my house is leading to her break the rules at her mother's house. I told my ex-wife that she should ease up on our daughter because she's almost a dang adult and doesn't need to be treated like a toddler. My ex-wife went bananas over the phone with me, and at her house, she went off on my daughter for being an undisciplined brat. My ex-wife is threatening to take me to court for custody if I don't straighten up my act, and I told her she can kiss my butt. It has me wondering, though, am I being an a-hole to my ex-wife? Is this bad dad behavior? I want my daughter to feel safe, comfortable, and happy, and I want to believe if I'm doing that. If I am being an a-hole to my ex-wife, what do I do? And there are some relevant comments, but what do you think?
Part of me is like, there should be some sort of united front when it comes to like raising a kid together, of like, how are we going to raise this kid? What values do we hold that we agree on? At the same point, it's like tough because you guys aren't together anymore.
Right.
But some of those things I definitely think she should be allowed to have. I think she has a right to not have to be like formal to walk around the house. Yeah. I don't think she should walk around naked like you said she could.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But
like, it's a give and take. Like, she definitely seems too harsh with some of her things, but I don't know that I'd be going against all of them.
Yeah, I think you guys should just have a conversation and just like I wouldn't call you the a-hole because I get your perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
But the mom also probably has her perspective too. Like, maybe she doesn't want her seeing friends in the middle of the week because she has homework or something, you know? So it's like, maybe ask first why we're having those rules and what she's seeing that he might not be, and then compromise. And
also, could there be like, if you guys have that conversation, would mom let up a little bit at her house, and then it's like we can come to this lightened, established, like all agreed upon ways, and then maybe daughter will enjoy both places equally.
Because either way, like, even if it's something that you don't agree with, having those polar opposite places for your kid is going to have like probably a worse impact on your kid than the strict rules. So yeah, but we do have some comments. Commenter number 1 says, not the a-hole. The clothes and the door lock concern me. Is your ex remarried? Are there other kids in the house? Policing what she wears at home and calling it modest makes it seem like your child is some sort of spicy related object and not a kid. Then the lock. It really sounds like she wants to keep people out. You should ask her about that more in depth. The other thing some people are more strict on than others. Your ex cannot control what happens in your house. Whether she likes it or not, you are an equal parent. Opie says, now that you mentioned the lock thing, that does seem concerning. I just passed it off as she wants her own privacy and left it at that. Before my daughter mentioned it, I didn't even know the door didn't have a lock. Is it possible And on the question, is it possible that religion might play a role in this situation for the rules at the mother's house? OP says, we are not Muslim. I am an atheist. I'm pretty sure my daughter is too because I don't hear her talking about going to any form of mass, but my ex-wife is an Orthodox Christian. I don't remember the conversation in full, but it started when my daughter just wore a bra and shorts around her mom's house when she was like 14 and her mom flipped. She doesn't let my daughter wear anything that's revealing or inappropriate around the house or in public. Me personally, I don't give a crap about what my daughter does or doesn't wear. I've bought my daughter clothes that she wanted and didn't give too much thought into it. On that really fast, I feel like she probably has a reason for that. Like, she probably, whether I might agree with it or not, and like depending on the I feel like I'd have to know a little bit more about the situation. The mom is probably just thinking like, oh, if she's wearing this around the house, then she's gonna be wearing this out, and she's just too young for that, you know?
Yeah.
But
how young was the daughter again?
she's 16 now, but
Okay.
it started when she was like 14, the clothes thing.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But
yeah. And back to like the only other one that I can think of is like the soda one keeps coming back to my mind because I'm like, yeah, for sure, like give the kid soda every once in a while, but like, are you giving this kid so much soda that she's like only drinking soda and we're like downing it and like ruining her health kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, does she need boundaries with that? Like, what level of how is too much freedom going to get to her when it's just like do what you want?
Exactly, because I'm also wondering too, like if you're just buying her whatever soda she wants or buying her whatever clothes she wants, is like, are you paying attention at all? Like, what are you looking at?
Somewhere in between, a good balance.
Yeah.
Which maybe is where you're at and we just haven't heard that part yet.
Yeah, exactly. But from what I'm seeing, I would ask that question. On the question, does OP talk with his daughter on a regular basis on what's going on in her life? OP says, my daughter is pretty open with who she's with or where she's going. I do know that she's going to lie from time to time because she's a teenager and all teenagers do it, but I trust that she can hold her own. I bought her a thing of pepper spray that goes on her keychain with her car keys that she carries everywhere, so worst case, she has something. I know a few of her friends that I've met at the house, but other than that, no, I don't know. On the question, does OP enforce his rules at his house when his daughter is with him? OP says, I do enforce other rules, such as she needs to have all of her homework done before going out with friends. I need to see her report cards. She needs to do her chores, etc., etc. Okay, that's good. She doesn't fight me over them and does them usually without me asking, so she's very responsible. OP on his job schedule and why he doesn't know what his ex has been up to after the divorce. OP says, I work almost 16 hours every day and still have to full-time parent to the best of my ability. I try not to pry into my ex-wife's life because most of it isn't any of my business unless it involves my daughter. I can ask, though. And OP on his parenting his daughter. OP says, I'm not a perfect parent. No one is. I work insane hours and I'm using my day off to fight with my ex-wife about my daughter. Yes, I make mistakes. Yes, I'm not as present as I want to be. My daughter comes to me about a lot of things and I trust that she's responsible enough to not do insane things. OP on having the grown-up talks with his daughter. OP says, I have had grown-up talks with my daughter before and it's gone fairly well. My daughter told me before anyone else that she is bi and was dating a girl. She asked me to keep it a secret from her mom, so I did. She's not dating the girl anymore, but I did meet her, and she seemed like a nice person. I've met a few of her friends, but not all of them. I'll try to do better with keeping up with that, and my daughter was okay with me putting Life 360 on her phone. My daughter doesn't do substances and doesn't drink. I told her if someone offers her a drink or substances to deny it and tell me. She said she promises to, and I trust her. As far as I know, my daughter hasn't engaged in any spicy-related activity, but I've had all of the yucky talks with her. When she started having periods, I told her that if she ever needs pads or tampons to let me know, and I'll make sure she gets them. I told her if she's going to have spicy sleep to make sure that they are being safe, using protection and consent and all that. I told her that in the unlikely event that she has spicy sleep and thinks she is pregnant or something happens that risks pregnancy, to let me know immediately and I'll get her pregnancy tests and contraceptives. Now, like any parent, I tell her not to have spicy sleep, but I also know that she's 16 and teenagers tend to do it anyway. So I'd rather her do it and be safe and know what recourses are available than to do it without the education and end up in a bad situation. And now we have an update. This is the same post, but the next birthday.
Oh, wow.
Okay. What do we think about all that?
OP sounds like he's got such a great handle on it all. Like,
Yeah, I
doing
agree.
great, dude.
Yeah, I think we were worried that like he was just kind of like not caring, but it seems like he totally is.
You're caring like the perfect amount. You're making sure her schooling's going well. She can still have her social life.
Right.
She's well set with like the safeties of the world.
Yeah. And you're trusting her, which is what a lot of teenagers need at that point in time. So good job. We do have an update. I have been talking to my daughter and ex-wife over the last several hours and have figured out a few things. One, there is no other permanent resident at my ex's house. No boyfriend, husband, no other kids, nothing like that. My ex does have this book club thing that she hosts and has guests once a month, but all are adults. Two, my ex-wife doesn't let my daughter have a lock on her door because, and I quote, because I'm not going to give her the ability to hide her substances or boyfriends that she is sleeping with. Three, my ex doesn't let my daughter see her friends during the week because she says her friends are distractions to school. However, her report card says she is doing just fine academically.
Yeah, there's such a lack of trust in that one. Like, the trust that she needs and wants that she has with dad is not there with mom.
Right, because, I mean, like the dad's saying, like, she is proving herself with all of her responsibilities. I think that's something that I just remember being in high school, and I remember people, like, wanting that freedom and that trust, but then, like, you know, even though they weren't bad kids or anything, they still didn't show it with like that kind of stuff, which, you know, like I get, I'm not like hating on that at all. I think I was probably the same.
But this mom is like not trusting her kid. Like she's already got these notions that like she is going to be doing this. Like you're not giving her that ability to prove herself.
Exactly. Like she's so scared.
Right.
4, my ex doesn't just control what she wears, but also won't let her use makeup or even watch or consume adult media. My daughter says that my ex called her attire snooty one time because she was wearing a shirt with no bra. My ex denies saying this, but I wouldn't put it past her. 5, I asked my daughter if she would be okay with me searching her room, and my daughter said she had nothing to hide. I looked around, and guess what? No substances, no vapes, no legal plans to take over the U.S. government. Nothing like that. Just normal 16-year-old girl room. 6, I asked my daughter if she would have a problem with me putting Life 360 on her phone so I could see where she goes. She handed me her phone and said again, she has nothing to hide, so she doesn't care. 7, I did talk to my daughter about her attitude and treatment towards her mother. She agreed that she has been acting out and said she will text me or call me if she has an issue with something that her mom is doing. She said she will respect her mother's rules, but she did ask me to talk to her about her mother's comments about her body. Apparently, my daughter feels like her mother is schmexualizing her and her body, and it makes her uncomfortable. I agreed to talk to her mom about it. So far, that conversation is locked up because her mom will not let up on her whole modesty crap. 8, my daughter told my ex that if she tried to take me to court, my daughter will ask a judge to live with me full time. More to come update-wise. Thank you all for your input. And we do have a second update.
Oh.
But do we have any thoughts before we move on?
I got no more thoughts.
Yeah, I think you kind of went over everything.
Yeah.
It seems like you're a good parent. Sucks that the mom is not letting up and stuff, but it's good that at least conversations are being had.
Yeah, and maybe she'll come around eventually with like seeing how well things could be working for your dad and kid.
Yeah.
So, there's hope.
So update 2. This is now 1 week later from the previous update. I just want to say thank you to everyone who gave their input on the situation. Over the past 7 days, I've been going through a lot of stress between work, my daughter's reaction, and my ex-wife. To start, last Sunday, I had very long discussions with my ex-wife about our daughter. To not ramble on, daughter says it's called yapping now. I'll give you the short version. My ex-wife says that she has to be strict on my daughter so she doesn't turn out bad. She doesn't let my daughter wear makeup, hang out with her friends during the week, eat certain foods and drink certain drinks, consume certain medias, have locks on her door, wear certain clothes, and she makes my daughter text her every hour she's not at school but out of the house on weekends, detailing who is she with, where she is at, and what they are doing. Oh my goodness. I talked to my daughter about her mother, and my daughter says her life over there is stressful, feeling like she's always being watched. She feels like she has no freedoms or autonomy and that she's at the mercy of her mother. My daughter did admit that she's been acting out recently at her mother's house, but I can't really blame her. I talked to one of my female coworkers who has 3 daughters about the situation I'm in. She said she is worried about my ex-wife mentally abusing my daughter, and I agreed. Some of you online also pointed out that my ex-wife could be schmexualizing and objectifying my daughter, to which I've also come to agree. I knew my daughter and my ex-wife have issues and have been butting heads on and off for a while, but I didn't know it was this bad. Regardless, I talked to my daughter about her mother's rules at her house. If her mother doesn't want her eating in the living room or drinking Sprite, she's allowed to have that rule. I told her she can not like it all she wants, but at the end of the day, there are not unreasonable requests. My daughter, though, very firmly asked me to talk to my ex-wife about the things that bug her the most. Those things are what she does and doesn't wear in the house, a lock on her door, and the rules in place about her friends. Only on the weekends and texting her mom constantly. I asked my daughter if she would be okay with me tracking her on Life 360. She said she's okay with me tracking her, but not her mother. My daughter tells me pretty much everything, though sometimes I wish she didn't overshare information I didn't need to know about. And she says she trusts me and knows I trust her. But she doesn't want her mom to be able to track her at all hours of the day. Yeah, because, obviously, like, the mom is going to see that and take it in such a different way when the dad is like, okay, yeah, I know what you are, but it's purely for safety.
Right. Where the mom will, like, and that's another level of trust where it's like, I'm already telling you where I am, so you need to trust that that's where I am.
Yeah, exactly.
And if we have this, like, you're not going to trust me because you're going to double check where I am, then we're just getting, like, way too off of track.
Yeah, exactly. Because the mom, honestly, is probably just coming of a place from fear and, like, not wanting something bad to happen and just, like, thinking of, you know, kind of what we talked about before of, like, having a young kid and you have more restrictions and have more say over their life. But obviously, you know, once they're older, you can't and you shouldn't. You should start to let them, you know, like, the trust helps them make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Because now she's going to act out and she's going to, like, purposefully rebel against all of these things.
Yeah, which she said she's doing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
go ahead.
No, you got it.
I also think that the whole, like, sometimes she overshares stuff that I wish she wouldn't. No, don't ever tell her that you don't want her to.
Yes.
Let her tell you whatever because that is so amazing.
Yeah.
That she feels so comfortable. I'm so sorry that you get a little too much.
Right,
but,
right.
Like, that is such a great thing to have.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Like, it probably is uncomfortable, but at the same time, like you know you can trust that.
Right. Do you know how, like, amazing that is that she's doing that to you? Like, she trusts you.
Right. And then that's great because then now you'll be able to trust her and that she is being safe because you'll hear about it if she's not.
Yeah.
The lock on her door was something else that we discussed. I asked my daughter why she wanted a lock on her door, and she provided information I basically did not need to know. But basically, she wants privacy and to be alone sometimes. Okay. I checked her room out with her in the room and didn't find anything like substances or plans to overthrow the Illuminati, so she's good on that front. When I asked her mother why she can't have a lock, she said it's because she, and I quote, doesn't want her having spicy sleep, doing substances, or hiding things from her. Apparently, my ex-wife just barges into her room and searches her things. I found that to be ridiculous and a complete violation of my daughter's privacy, and I threw a fit to my ex about it. No wonder my ex doesn't know any of my daughter and I's little secret that she's bi. She can't even trust her mother not to go through her stuff. Next, the whole issue about what she does and doesn't wear in the house. In my house, I could give less of an F. Usually she walks around in boxers or some crap. Sometimes she wears normal clothes. Sometimes she wears one of those full body pajamas. I don't give a crap, but she knows the rules about it. She has to leave the house wearing normal clothes, and she needs to have normal clothes on when guests are at the house. When she's there alone or with me, she can do whatever. Her mom, on the other hand, has been sexualizing her daughter. Her ex denies doing this, but I don't think my daughter would lie about it. And knowing my ex-wife, she 100% said it. My ex has said my daughter is not a modest woman. Needless to say, this pisses me off 6 ways to Sunday, but we exchanged some heated words over the topic. And by the way, you can exchange some heated words over the topics discussed in episodes of stories just like this one.
Yeah, you can.
On Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Storytime. But there is a little bit more into the story, but I'm honestly curious about that. The whole, like, sexualizing the daughter thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call it that from what we know.
I think that she's not necessarily I can't say that word.
It's okay.
She's not necessarily doing that, but she's almost like setting her up where if she dressed like that, there would be shame in it.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like it comes into hinting onto that. Like, it's not like she's outwardly like, you look like a little, like, sloot, but...
Right.
Like,
well, yeah,
the fact that you're implying that she can't wear it is like...
Yeah, exactly. Like, she did say...
I did forget. Yeah, she did say the one. But...
Right. But still, I still wouldn't call that, like, schmexualizing or objectifying, like some of the comments said. I think it's, that's possible for it to be like that. But just given the context and given everything else, I wouldn't really see it as that. Like, as, oh, I'm just seeing my daughter as, like, a spicy object, I
don't think that's the place that the mom is coming from with it.
Yeah.
I think it's totally valid that that's how she's interpreting it.
Right.
I don't think that's the intentions behind it, but she's definitely still shaming her.
Because I get how it's, like, in some cases, when you're thinking about that and always commenting on that, then, like, that could seem like, oh, I just see you as a spicy object, but because it's her mom and because she's so, like, overprotective about all this other stuff.
I would really hope not.
Yeah, right? I don't want to jump there, at least.
The intentions behind it.
Exactly. I think you were right. It's just shaming and all that, which is not good. There's a little bit more. My daughter came over to the house today for our 50-50 custody swap and immediately went and locked herself in her room. At first, I thought maybe she was going to go FaceTime her friends or something, so I let it be for a bit. But after she didn't come out after an hour or so, I knocked on her door. My daughter had been crying. I asked why, and she said that my ex told her that she's going to take me to court and ensure that I won't see her again.
Yeah, girly pop, that's not going to happen. We know that's not going to happen.
Truly is.
I'm so sorry, though, that she told you that, but
your
dad's got you.
Right. Yeah. Just got done consoling my heartbroken daughter, typing all of this out with her tears and snot on my nice shirt. There's the update. I say game on to my effing witch butt ex-wife.
Yeah, OP!
And there are some quick comments, but actually OP doesn't respond to them. But that's the end of that story.
Wow. My brother thought I would never fight back, so I proved him wrong.
Ooh, gotta catch these hands, bro.
My brother Sam always treated me like trash. I was a lonely kid from skipping grades, so I didn't know what friend or sibling relationships were supposed to be for a long time. I forgave him for a lot of stuff I shouldn't have. I've always had this vibe where people are calmer around me and don't put up a guard, so I get told a lot. Sam knows how much I've always wanted to be his friend too, so I don't think he ever considered what might happen if he really, truly pissed me off. By the way, this comes from Sweet Liberty. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, by 30, I'd hoped maybe he'd be mellowing out, but no. He only reaches out at the last minute on holidays when he needs something. I live with my parents. I've grown emotionally as an adult, valuing myself and realizing how crappy he treated me. I started to resent him and stopped reaching out to hang or talk. And we didn't talk for months. On Mother's Day, we went out with Sam and his fiancée Leah for brunch. I had a bad migraine, but went in case Sam bowed out last minute like he usually does. I didn't want my mom to feel sad. Before, I'd be very lively trying to talk to him. I barely spoke 10 words to him. Maybe 100 the whole meal. And the only time he spoke to me was to talk down to me. The restaurant was busy, so we left our table and went outside. It was hot and bright, bad conditions for a migraine. Leah has chronic migraines, so you'd think he'd be sympathetic. But he didn't even notice I wasn't well. Sam didn't get Mom a gift, just a card. It was a sonogram. Sam and Leah have been engaged for a while, but no one likes Leah, and for good reason. My parents were pretending to be happy, but I didn't bother. What are the reasons? Opie, what are the reasons?
We need to know!
After a little while, the light and heat were making me feel sick, so I asked my dad if we could go now. Sam snapped that no one asked me to come, that I wasn't invited. Mom quickly shut that down. I tried to walk away to the car and sit, but he said, "Wow, that's crappy family for ya." All heck broke loose on. I turned around and screamed, not caring about our 7-year age gap, difference in height, or strength. The entire group froze in shock because I'm always soft-spoken and gentle. I reminded him he admitted he wasn't happy in his relationship and that Leah made him miserable and would make a terrible mother. He was afraid of being alone. I took him in when our parents kicked him out. He hurt me for trying to sleep in my own bed, then didn't talk to me for 2 years because I didn't let him drive wasted that night. He gave me PTSD. He has the gall to deny and laugh about it. He never visited me in the hospital or during the 3 months of recovery at home after I was in an accident. Leah had a tragic one before and still brings it up, so you'd think he'd have sympathy. When he finally unfroze, his argument was pathetic. It was that my parents paid for my college apartment. They paid for his too, but okay. And this was the reason when I asked him if I could stay in a worst case scenario after fighting with our mom, he said no. Then his stock reaction when he knows he's wrong, puffing up his chest, saying, "Lay a hand on me, bro." Mom would never punt me out. Sometimes we fight, as you do with people you live with. It helps my anxiety to make backup plans I don't actually need, and Sam is aware of that. I told him to never, ever contact me again because he is not my effing family. Dad gently steered me back to the car, and I sat inside. They talked for a while after I got in, but I wasn't listening. Leah said she isn't speaking to her family and now doesn't even have his family. Way to admit we aren't family. Leah tried to explain that Sam declined because they have 2 large dogs, and they were worried something might happen to my tiny dog, Pebbles. My mom said I never planned to bring Pebbles because I couldn't separate her from my parents' dogs. Leah looked confused and said Sam told her I wanted to bring the dog. Sam said he'd never visit the house again as long as I lived there and tried to get my parents to punt me out. Mom shut that down too and clarified that I'm higher on the totem pole than he is by a lot and it's his own fault. At first, Mom was torn. She agreed that my brother was completely wrong but didn't want to just cut off one of her kids. But as I laid out all the crap he'd done and admitted to me, that changed. Mom was furious and apologized that they didn't punish him enough when we were kids, figuring siblings fight, and I was always the kid that was fine. She texted Sam that an apology would go a long way, and he declined, saying he wasn't ready to deal with her yet. My parents told me that if I'm not invited to the wedding, they won't go either, so he would finally have some consequences. I wouldn't go. It's the principle. Some of what I told her was the actual sum of money he'd stolen from Dad over the years. We knew, but didn't think it was $800.
Oh, wow.
He had spicy sleep in my parents' bed, and just how badly he hurt me. Sam only has his good job because Dad pulled strings. This ungrateful brat didn't even text him on Father's Day, going off on Mom for reminding him to text because it ruined his day. That pissed us off a lot. And while we were venting, we realized how badly he effed himself. Leah doesn't have many friends, no close females. Sam doesn't either. He made poor choices. She isn't speaking with her sister, sister-in-law, or mom because she's throwing a tantrum that grandma won't have undivided attention on her kid. I always wanted to feel included, so they were probably banking on me to help plan the baby shower and appointments for wedding detail. I enjoy organization. No idea who will help her now. Sam would force me to dog sit when he lived here, knowing I can't put an animal in the crate if I'm there, and he never gave me a heads up or asked. Leah already alienated Mom for babysitting with a witchy comment years ago, and Leah said she wouldn't want strangers watching her kids. So they probably figured I'd be the compassionate sister, as always, and watch my nibbling. Sam often used me as a therapist. When my dog of 14 years passed, I got nothing. One of his dogs is older and already blind and deaf. He told me he was terrified of the day she passed because he wouldn't know what to do. Well, can't lean on me anymore. I haven't bothered checking, but I figured the engagement is strained. Sam is a known liar, and I can barely try to bluff in a game of Uno. Leah heard what Sam said about his feelings towards her and realized Sam lies to her about me. Wonder how that's working out. Don't know, don't care. They're both blocked. We have a bet going that he doesn't want to deal with me yet because he thinks by his birthday I'll cave in and get him a gift and he'll get out of this with no apologies yet again. His mistake. We have an update.
Oh my god.
That was a lot of information.
It
Some
was.
of which was a little confusing, but I get the gist of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're standing up for yourself.
Go OP.
Yeah, I see no problems. I see you just like breaking out of your softer shell and finally, not being a doormat. Maybe you weren't quite a doormat before, but you're definitely not one now.
Yeah.
And you seem to have a good head on your shoulders of like, you know exactly what's right. So just trust that.
Yeah. You finally hit your point of like, I'm done. Yeah. We have an update. Some of you may remember that Sam's birthday was in September. It came and went quietly by some miracle. I think he finally got the message that he passed the point of no return this time. Turns out that Sam and Leah got married just before September, aka the cutoff date for adding spouses and dependents to the good health insurance plan Sam gets from work. Pretty sure it was arranged for that. And by the way, we've arranged it so that you can always listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. Got a little bit more, but wow.
That's crazy. I totally would think it's right before the insurance. I mean, if they're gonna do it anyway.
It sounded like most people weren't coming to their wedding anymore, so
yeah. The fact that she just like
as well.
found out later that he got married, it's like, oh,
okay,
no mention of that. Yeah.
I wasn't happy when I found out. Not that I care about the wedding. I hate sharing a last name with these trash people. I wish we could take it away. My mom and dad also informed me that for the past few years, they'd only been civil to him for my sake. Mom told me about a time they were calling my brother to find a day to give him a present, and Sam said, "Yeah, I'll see if I can make time next week," and did the goodbyes with my mom, but forgot to hang up, then said to Leah, "Yeah, right, like that'll ever happen." They never told me because I loved him. They also let me know that since all of this has gone down, they completely changed the will, and I will get everything when they pass.
Whoa!
End of that story. Oh my god!